My name is Jane Godia. I work with African Woman and Child Feature Service, a media NGO based in Nairobi, Kenya. African Woman and Child, or as we call it, AWC, was started in 1994 to give visibility to women and children in the media. Over time, AWC has grown and evolved, and we have now included men in our vision and mission. And these are men who don't have a platform for their voice to be heard. At AWC, we have three major publications that we work on. We have The Reject, a publication that was started 2 years ago, looking at stories that have been rejected by mainstream media from journalists or who are correspondents in the field. And mainly they write about women, they write about children, and they write about men, poor men in the villages. So we opted to give them that opportunity to publish their stories, and hence The Reject, for the rejected stories from the mainstream. The issue that won the Global Media Award of The Reject was the special issue that we published on the World Population Day. The main story on this issue was the politics of population. We were looking at what does population census mean to the common man and woman. We find that politicians play around with numbers when it comes to the common man and the common woman. They use these numbers for their gain. They tell women not to use family planning because they want more children so that women can have more voters. But nobody thinks about if this woman will be able to feed these children, if this family will be able to have the next meal, or even accommodation, or even land to till. So that is why we decided on this issue. But when we gave the assignment out to the journalists, they came up with very interesting human stories. I will pick out the Yaku people, a community that is almost extinct. There are about 4,000 now. Their story is an interesting read. Only 8 out of the 4,000 can speak the language, which was declared in 1998 extinct by UNESCO. When we started The Reject, and I remember the first issue of The Reject, we were talking about families moving on to Mount Kenya, the second highest mountain in Africa, to look for pasture and water for their animals. These families were moving with their children onto the mountain slopes. When they feed and graze on the mountain slopes, they are affecting the area of the mountain. This mountain today does not have as much snow as it used to have because population has interfered with it. Because it doesn't have as much vegetation, water has been affected down here. There's a lot of water that used to come from the mountain down for the people. That water is not there. Water is scarce in many places because people have overused their land. When people do not have water and they overuse their land, then that land is not able to produce enough for them. We find that many areas people don't have water, and many areas that land is not able to produce enough food. When you don't have water, you don't have food. It's human and animal life. The livestock are affected, the human beings are affected, but majority of those who are affected are women and children. They're the ones who will end up dying because of that. And we've seen it in that issue that won the award. We looked at the issue of food security and water security, which is a big issue. When there's no water and when there's no food, huge, people migrate. And when people are migrating, they're moving with the animals, they're moving with the families, and they end up going to places where now they become too many for that area. Then again, that area gets affected.